Me when multimillionaire celebrities are bad people. Me when multimillionaires don't pay the people who work for them. Me when multimillionaires abuse their power. Me when multimillionaires have ties to sketchy government organizations. Damn, that's crazy. Like...
Not to sound like I'm defending Scarlett Johansson, because I am absolutely not, but do you also do that when people bring up, like, Iron Man? Or, like, Hawkeye? I don't know about Chris Evans, so I'm not gonna say Captain America, but, like, most of the actors involved with the MCU, involved with, like, superhero movies in general, have done shitty things in the past, and a lot of them, because I know exactly what you're referring to, Woody Allen and what's his face, the other annoying one, Roman Polanski, right? A lot of actors that have signed on to that are in other superheroes. So it's just weird to me. Why would you do that when somebody brings up that fictional character that she happens to play? Do you do that with the other characters, or is it just the one woman?
Don't really know why, but yesterday that video doubled in views. A lot of attention from very annoying people. I got the same 3 comments over and over again, so I'm going to give you an answer to those 3 comments right here. If you grew up on a mountain, I clearly don't mean you. Skiing was just part of life for us. Not everybody lives on the fucking Alps, do they? If you had to ski to school, I don't mean you, okay? Second being, skiing's actually quite affordable. Anyone can go skiing. You just have to be savvy with your money, and then you can go skiing. Seriously had someone telling me that you could get skis for 50 quid and a pass for 40 quid. It's so affordable. Just like be better with your money, he says, to the single mother with 3 kids living in the middle of Rochdale. And the last one being from, like, kids of rich people being like, it's not my fault my parents have money. Seriously not gonna like me just because I was born with money? I would like to hunt your parents for sport.
Ew, I hate America. Then why do people try to illegally immigrate here?
Probably because you're less likely to get sanctioned, embargoed, cooed, and bombed by America when you're in America.
The young Sami activist and reindeer herder Mikael has now moved in outside of the Norwegian parliament, and he's going to stay here as long as the Norwegian government is breaking human rights against the indigenous people. Mikael has traveled from Sápmi to the capital of Norway, Oslo, to live right here. He's saying that he's not doing this because he wants to, but because he has to fight back. Today we mark 700 days of human rights violations against indigenous people in Norway, and we are not backing down or giving up. I'm gonna be here a lot, so if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. It's very nice if you want to give Mikael some love.
Hey, you're gay.
Don't be homophobic.
Still doesn't give girls the right to be upset when they're on their nice period. You're right, dude. I agree. The bloating, joint pain, headaches, increased acne, abdominal pain, lower back pain, fatigue, increased progesterone in the brain that interferes with their neurotransmitters. They have to be in holly jolly mood all the time. I agree. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? How about instead of getting upset at her because she is in pain, you fucking comfort her? Also, we don't have to give women the right to do anything. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Unless it's like murdering people. I would probably stand against that one. Girls think they're onto something here, yet bleach their underwear. You're right, dude. Those girls are so natural. It literally means that they're healthy. Girls naturally produce discharge throughout the day, and that bleach spot that you're talking about is because that discharge is acidic, and it means that their pH balances are level. So in your attempt to try embarrass women, you're embarrassing yourself by not knowing anything about them. So this one's for you.
Who's this? Come on.
Bro, you're already facing charges.
Yeah, I get it.
Go ahead and commit
So,
a crime.
so,
I've been here this whole time. Situational.
yes, okay.
Why?
I'm sick of men objectifying, sexualizing, catcalling.
All right, guys, they asked for it, so stop liking all these half-naked pictures of women on Instagram and other social media platforms. Do what they ask. Stop objectifying women. And then when they post those promiscuous pictures showing their boobs and their ass and they're getting no likes, no follows, let's see what happens.
You actually started your video by admitting that you didn't understand anything you just watched. A woman is sitting there telling you that she's sick of being objectified and catcalled, and your first instinct is to threaten to stop objectifying her? Because that's not exactly a punishment. But I do think it's concerning that you refuse to stop objectifying women because they asked you to, but you will stop objectifying women if you think that you're punishing them by withholding male validation. And you also chose to compare two entirely different things, because there's a difference between sexualizing a woman who's just trying to grocery shop with her 2 kids and sexualizing a woman's sexual content that you paid to consume from her OnlyFans. And the difference is consent. So many of you are so used to being able to sexualize women whenever you want. So it seems that you're feeling victimized by women having boundaries. But no one's telling you that you can't find women attractive. You just can't act on it without their permission because they don't exist solely for your consumption. Think about it. There's a difference between catcalling a woman who's just trying to get to work on the subway and liking a woman's bikini photo that she chose to post on social media. And although you may see her in a sexual manner in that post, the consent to sexualize ends the second you stop viewing the photo. And that means that you don't get to tell her that she has a nice butt the next time you see her working out alone at the gym just because you saw her in a bikini photo that one time online. The woman in the beginning of that video is talking about the inappropriate behavior from men that women have to experience and the fear that they have to endure because of it. But you attempted to minimize it in an effort to invalidate what she was saying. And you used the example of bikini pictures on social media in order to do it because you love to act as though a woman giving her permission in one instance means that she can't take it away in another. And that's the same reason that you use the words sexualize and objectify interchangeably, even though they're not at all the same. Objectifying a woman takes away her humanity and her autonomy. And that's why you prefer to objectify women, because if you can see them as objects, then you can act as though they have no feelings and no choice. But you can sexualize someone without stripping them of their humanity, as long as you do it with their permission. And that's the part you don't like. So it seems like you're just mad that you actually have to treat women like people. And you can no longer blame their clothes, occupation, or previous sexual history for why you shouldn't have to.
Make fun of him, but you can't make fun of Buddha.
Sorry, I have to stitch this again because this is so funny, but also people make fun of religions outside of Christianity all the time, especially Christians. How are you going to sit there and tell people that they cannot make fun of your religion when you are actively telling anybody who follows another religion that they are damning themselves for all of eternity? Like, it does not make any sense to me at all. And do not tell me that you guys don't make fun of people who practice other things or walk different walks of life or are trans or queer or anything. Because I was there for like 21 years of my life. I heard the things that people say behind the safety of the church doors. And there's a lot of nasty things that get said from the pulpit, also within circles of Christian friends. Because when you're in an echo chamber, it's okay to say things when you know that nobody's gonna disagree with you. If you feel personally targeted when somebody makes fun of Christianity or critiques it in any way, then you need to do some soul searching. It's like how most men who are, they use their brains, know that when people say I-H-A-T-E-M-E-N, I'm not going to say that because it'll get flagged, they're not included with those because it's a critique on the system. The system. If you feel like you need to get defensive when people make fun of a harmful system, then what are you doing? What are you doing? I used to be a born-again Christian. And I got born again and again and again and again and again until I woke up and realized a lot of what I was believing was a load of hypocrisy.
I wasn't even going to respond to this, but if you are privileged enough to have lived your life without ever finding those simple, mundane, everyday things very, very difficult because of mental illness, this trend isn't for you. For so many people that are struggling, those small, mundane tasks that you're just like, this stuff is so easy. It's not easy for them. It wasn't easy for me when I was a teenager and was going through all of this and felt like I was the only person. And one time when I did finally get up and go shower for the first time in a week, it was a huge accomplishment. And if I saw that represented online when I was going through that, then I would have felt seen. Let me educate you real quickly, okay? If someone is so incredibly depressed that they physically cannot get out of bed, they physically can't shower, they can't leave the house, they can't eat, which, by the way, is a thing that happens not because they choose to, but because that's what's happening in the chemicals in their brain when they do eventually be able to do these small things. Yes, we celebrate. And quite frankly, I don't give a if I come across as cringe. And half of the time I know that I do, but that's because I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the millions of people that are struggling with those things, that do feel like they're seen in this. Yes, it's a TikTok trend, but it's the kind of trend that when those that are struggling with that and they're scrolling and seeing all this other stuff on their For You page that doesn't relate to them, when they see that, they go, oh my gosh, one, I'm not alone, and two, yeah, I can celebrate those small things. It can encourage people to celebrate those small things. And I really hope that one day, if you're in a position where you're struggling like that, you're going to know that you can celebrate the small wins and that those things can be really difficult. So when you do it, yes, we celebrate. Capiche? Capiche.
And I can't stand girls who take their heels off when they're in a rave. I'll step on your big toe just to remind you how to behave.
You misunderstand my argumentation. I'm not willing to die on this hill, but I am willing to kill you on it.
What's a historical fact that you had to learn on your own and not in school?
During World War II, U.S. soldiers stationed in the South Pacific would start riots because those islands wouldn't uphold segregation. One of the biggest riots was in New Zealand. The United States military had about 45,000 servicemen stationed in New Zealand. They established a military base there, and they even had service clubs. Now, these were places where military men could come, relax, and enjoy themselves. But the U.S. servicemen in New Zealand wanted the same rules that they had back home, which was complete and utter segregation. But they didn't want it applied to African Americans. They wanted it applied to the native Maori people. And at the same time, there was a battalion of Maori people from New Zealand that were fighting against the Germans and the Japanese. But the Maori soldiers were like, absolutely not. Not only was it their country, they were fighting for it, and Maoris were indigenous to the land. In 1943, a group of U.S. soldiers began stopping Maori soldiers from using service club. And not only did that piss off Maori soldiers, that pissed off white New Zealand soldiers as well. The fight involved 2,000 servicemen, and it got so bad that New Zealand's Navy, Army, and Air Force had to get involved. Hundreds of people were injured, and it's believed that 2 U.S. servicemen lost their lives. At the time, they suppressed all the information about the riot because they didn't want to disturb the peace with other allies.
I love that France gave us the Statue of Liberty and we were like, wow.
Are you ready for some wildly paraphrased history? Because it's so much funnier than that. So it's the late 1800s. The Chicago World Fair is going to happen, and there's so much stuff happening around that. The list of things that are invented specifically for the Chicago World Fair ranges from, like, spray paint to the Ferris wheel, and possibly bungee jumping. Unclear. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. It is kind of wild. We're looking for a showstopper. Because you see, the last big World Fair that happened was in France, and the thing they unveiled at that World Fair was the freaking Eiffel Tower. And that was huge. Like culturally, but also physically. It is a tower. They are large. So the people who are in charge of this, and I don't feel like looking up references for this funny little video, so I don't remember who that was, but they're like, okay, we need something American and amazing to be at the center of this fair. Now, they get a lot of objectively funny submissions. There's, like, one dude that wants to build this friggin' enormous log cabin tower. I can't remember if this was the same idea or a different idea than the one who wanted to build a god-awful long toboggan ride from Chicago to New York. Unclear how he was planning on doing that. I mentioned the bungee jump thing. Someone wanted to make bungee jumping, but it was like a huge glass case full of people, and then they landed on a mattress. I don't think the science panned out on that, and they didn't try, so that's probably for the best. Some nut job was like, what if we put people in big glass boxes and spin them around on a huge wheel? That guy's name, by the way, was George Ferris, and actually they did that. Yes, the first Ferris wheel was huge glass boxes, and they had attendants in each of the boxes so that if people freaked out, there was someone there to help. And there's at least one case of a guy freaking out, and the attendant couldn't help, and a woman took off her petticoat and just put it over his head like he was a startled bird, and that worked. But right, so where does the Statue of Liberty come into this? Well, the guy who made the Eiffel Tower, that big thing that they're trying to outdo with the centerpiece for the Chicago World Fair, his name is Gustav Eiffel. Now, they open up this competition to outdo the Eiffel Tower, and who should roll up? Gustav fucking Eiffel. This guy just, like, really liked building statues. So he was like, hey, can I build a statue for you? And they were like, this is like an American thing, like a spirit of America. And Gustav was like, okay, we'll go build something else. And so I'm not definitively saying that because they didn't let him build the centerpiece tower, he had free time and decided to make the Statue of Liberty. But yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So the series of events is basically Gustav is like, can I build your tower? And they're like, not this time. And then Gustav is like, okay, and comes back with a different big thing that's effectively a tower. And they're like, all right, thanks, Gustav. Okay, we're gonna put it on its own nice island. Good job. I just really liked building towers.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity. 400-year-old vampire child with padlock ankle unearthed in Poland. Okay, let's go over this together if we can. So I read the article, and it was a mother and a child. And it looks like there was some sort of like metal thing around the mother's neck and like a padlock thing around the child's ankle. So there's two places my mind went right away, okay? Place number one, kind of a sad place, right? Because back in the day, people were really dumb. They were naive. Nobody knew. Everything was scary to everybody back then, right? Like if somebody were to cut their finger and you look at your finger to stop the blood and they'd be like, oh, it's a vampire. Kill her and her child. Right? Like if a woman back then knew how to read, she was what? Una bruja. It's so stupid. Like, fine, where's the guy vampires at? There was no guy vampires? You telling me you just found a woman and her child? Come on, dog. Come on, dog. But in the other side of me is also like this. I don't really know. I'm actually just talking out of my ass. I don't really actually know. Could she have been a vampire? Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't even thought of yet. But regardless of all that, the one thing I do know is that you should undig it up. Like you dug it up, now undig it. Put it back. And archaeologists, don't take it the wrong way. I'm not really on y'all ass like that. Okay? Because y'all just be finding stuff to look at it. Fine, whatever. My real beef is with the scientists. Okay? Because I know they're going to want to come and look at that. All right? They're going to come at you just like this. Hey, guys, gals, they, thems. How y'all doing? Amazing. Well, I heard you guys found some vampire bones? Great. We're going to take a couple DNA samples, just to run a couple tests. Maybe a couple clones, create a new civilization, and we'll call it Smallville. What do you guys think? Leave it alone. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's vote on this one. Okay? I believe in democracy. How about we take a vote on this one, okay? Everybody that's in favor of leaving it alone and putting it back, say aye. Aye. Great. Now, everybody in favor of putting it back and leaving it alone, say aye. Yeah, this is a dictatorship, not a democracy. Fuck that. Stop touching stuff and put it back. Okay? Let these bodies rest in peace so that we can also rest in peace. Damn. Trying to go to bed worry about vampires? Dziękuję, motherfucker. That was thank you, motherfucker, in Polish.
Why can't these CEOs just make money and shut up? Back in the day, we had CEOs that were despicable. But bitch, they were quiet. However, now, I don't know what the fuck it is. But all of a sudden, all these billionaires, all these little CEOs are fixated on letting us know that they have personality. We now have Zuckerberg gunning for the position of America's #1 baby girl. His new thing is, I can throw hands, but I listen to Taylor Swift. Zuckerberg has revealed that he's a Swiftie, and now he's relatable. On the flip side, you have Elon Musk, who tried the whole Tony Stark persona, the whole bad tech boy, but shot too high and fell flat into a depressed midlife crisis, is now threatening to fight Zucker Swift, but backed out because trolls don't physically fight. So now he's resorted to historically devaluing the fuck out of Twitter, asking if Doja Cat is single, and singing Marvin's Room by Drake on Twitter. Or X, my bad. But somehow, in the midst of all of this, you have some psycho named Jeffrey in the corner of the economy going, I fly into space. You want this thick Jeffrey ass? Why don't I 2-day delivery ship your ass over to my place? Just make sure that pussy ain't bald like my Jeffrey head. That shit better be bushy like the Amazon. What is going on? Why are these CEOs allowed to have voice boxes? Not everybody that has the power of speech must talk. Shut up! We don't give a shit! Rent is high. Aliens are real. Leprosy is back in Florida. There are more entertaining things for us to realize than the fact that Zuckerberg is a Swiftie!
He died on the cross for our sins. We were supposed to be on that cross.
Did you know the Romans? Yeah, they crucified a lot of people before Jesus. I'm just saying. Also, who's we?
Here's something for everyone to think about when it comes to the whole issue of transgenderism. For decades, we have...
You might not believe it, but we actually have modern day blackface. And it's not being trans. It's just blackface.
To all the people who think I'm going to hell because I'm queer, I find that really disrespectful. Because it disregards all the other perfectly valid reasons I'm going to hell. You're saying I'm headed for the flames because of the situation I was born into? Not of my own merit? Girlie, it sounds to me like you're saying I'm Satan's Nepo baby, and I am no one's Nepo baby.
Your fortune cookie says it's an auspicious day to get your butt whooped. Huh? Oh my god, I should have gone to medical school. How am I supposed to bring honor to our family using cheap powers? I barely passed AP Calc last year. That was the only boba shop we had in a 3-mile radius. Huh? So I wasn't able to get us a limo for prom, but I think I got something better. That's all. I've had Indian food that's done more damage to me. Yeah. You know, before I got cursed with this purple streak in my hair by a dragon prince, that would have been a lot weirder to me. Why am I playing a Chinese character right now? Simu Liu was filming the Barbie movie.
Are you talking about Marie Antoinette?
Yeah.
I heard a thing or two about her. Is a seat taken?
In the 1800s, African women were required to keep their hair covered in head wraps, except on Sundays, when some could remove the wrap and style their hair for church. When left with nothing but their spirit, resilience shone through. Butter and other household items were used to moisturize and condition. With no combs or brushes available, they'd use wool carding tools to comb through tangles. It wasn't much, but it was one little moment when they could feel human again. They'd even use bacon grease for hair care and protective styling. If our hair could talk, it would tell you a story of power. There's no bad texture. Our coils hold the DNA of survivors. Be proud. Be bold.
Oh, fuck. There's only one now? Well, which one? Which one are all of us then? Should I just refer to you as she now, or are you going to start referring to me as he? If I'm assuming the two are the ones that you've chosen, but since we've eliminated the two, which one is left? I'm starting to panic.
Hi.
Do you know patty cake? The updated version? Patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and roll it and mark it with a J. And put it in the oven for my wedding, which is gay.
You didn't tell me you were queer. You two get out of here.
Oh. We have the right to marry who we want.
I refuse service in my restaurant.
Shame, shame, shame. Shame you on Twitter. Go into the bathroom and clog your shitter. I'm depressed. I'm so blessed. Which one of us is more oppressed? Roll call. I am a woman. I have black skin. And a Native American friend. I am a woman. I have split ends. And I am an immigrant. But you're still white. Yes, but my family came here as refugees. Still white. They were also poor. Still white. Yeah, I just think that in some ways we're oppressed too. Little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said,
your copay is $17,893.
What? Why?
We're an out-of-network provider.
Look, I can't afford this.
Well, maybe you could do a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe.
So I'm supposed to go viral to survive?
Ma'am, I have to go.
Don't you put me on hold.
Ma'am.
Ma'am. Hey, shh, 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 shh. Tell me a secret, tell me too. Your Amazon Alexa is spying on you.
Wait, really?
I mean, that's what I read.
Where did you read that?
I didn't read it, but somebody told me it.
Was it Joe Rogan?
He's very smart. But I don't remember who stole the cookies from the cookie jar. Akila stole the cookies from the cookie jar.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Couldn't be.
Yes, she did, officer. I saw her. She was over there barbecuing with her friends. And I was like, one of those people is gonna steal a cookie.
Oh, if we hang out in a group, we're stealing cookies? That's what that means?
Oh my God, she's assaulting me.
Handcuffs! No!
Film the cops, loot local shops, start a revolution, continuing pollution, build a bunker, live underneath, dig up everybody's and collect gold teeth, use them to purchase a ticket on a spaceship, taking the wealthy to a more inhabitable planet, but end up taking the poor person version that explodes right after takeoff. My skin is burning! I don't want to die like this. So cold. We're turning into ashes, ashes. We all fall down.
Milana, come inside before the purge begins.
These are some of my favorite dumb little phrases to say when people ask me why I don't shave my legs. It's part of my religion. I'm a follower of Bigfoot. I'm planning to donate to Locks of Love once it's long enough. I just really wanted something to slow me down in the pool. You know, because Olympic swimmers, they shave their whole body to swim faster, you know?
Yeah. Round of applause, everyone. Round of applause. I clicked on the second hair on the list. I didn't have to scroll to page 7, and it's not a straight mohawk. It's a curly, it's actually a faux hawk, but it's a curly. I have to cry. We made it! 2023, we made it!
It's so cute! No hugging? Come on to my left.
Every video I've seen of this guy has made me livid. First he goes on a train in Japan and complains about how it's an only woman's carriage and walks in and films all the women there. So disrespectful. Then he goes out into the street where there's a performer and there's a bunch of signs and he films all the signs that say no photos, and then he goes up and talks to the performer and she's like, no, don't take a video. He continues to film her and then posts it anyway, and then they're like, don't hold the dog. You don't deserve to travel. You don't deserve to go to Japan when you can't even respect the people there. Screw you, man. Screw you.
Let's bring back ageism. Shut up! I said what I said. Let's bring back ageism. But what about my grandma? Quiet, this isn't about your grandma. I love your grandma, she's nice. I think we should bring back ageism when it comes to the government and lawmaking. Now, one take you're gonna agree with. The other one, you might be like, oh my fuck, May, you normally don't miss, but you miss here. Canceled. But honestly, ever since the week we had with Mitch McConnell and fucking Feinstein, I'm willing to risk it. Number one, I don't know the exact age, but it needs to be between 65 and 70. If you are above 65 or 70, whatever the fuck we decide, you are no longer allowed to hold public office. Cut that shit off. But what about their jobs? Shut the fuck up. Their jobs? Half these fucks are millionaires. Their retirement has kicked in. Jobs, my two-pronged pussy. So 65 shouldn't work? 65s can do whatever the fuck they want! And don't get me wrong, 65s are my shit. I'm friends with 71s. Great fucking people, but not in government. Government is too risky a sector to be dealing with the biological bullshit that naturally happens around that age. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Now for the bad take. Ah, shit! I also think there should be an age limit to voting. Someone on Threads said this a few days ago. You all don't allow 16s and 17s to vote. So why the fuck are 86s and up being allowed to fuck around with policy for people who they're going to leave behind to deal with that shit? There's a fuck ton of 96s walking around in these streets who every time it gets hot, they say, global warming. Well, that's a hoax. All this insane heat is just the glory of God. Genesis 1:1 says, Jesus Christ has 56 teeth. The harder he smiles, the hotter it gets. Glory to God! And these are the people who are being allowed to have a say in democracy? Shut up and go eat pancakes. You all saw Mitch McConnell. Y'all saw Dianne Feinstein. In the same 24 hours, these two experienced questionable medical events. And these people who are running on electrical biological vibes are the ones who you think should be making policy? Bitch, fuck! You shouldn't have a say. You should be scratching coochie in Alaska. Get the fuck out! Hot takes, wild takes, but fuck, bitch. I mean, we're desperate.
Here's 3 controversial things I do every day that are sure to trigger you.
Conservatives trying to trigger the left is the funniest thing in the world to me, so go ahead.
As a stay-at-home mom, I make food for my family every day.
The left does not have a problem with people who abide by traditional gender roles. At its core, the left wants freedom and equality for all people. So if you personally prefer to live your life by traditional gender roles, then that's fine. The only side that forces you to abide by certain gender roles is the right.
Also, I read the Word of God in the scriptures every day. My favorite is the Book of Mormon.
Once again, the left wants freedom and equality, which includes freedom of religion. And that includes LGBTQ plus people. They just don't want you to push your religion on them. Once again, the only side that holds biases and prejudice towards certain religions is the right.
I also drive this really environmentally unfriendly vehicle daily.
I'm sorry, but why would you making the conscious choice to waste your money affect me at all? I mean, you were so triggered, you went out of your way to buy a gas-guzzling car and waste your own money.
I also drive alone in my car without a mask on.
You are the one sacrificing your own health and safety in spite of the left. I'm not the one triggered here.
Why are some of the same people who are rightfully against catcalling the same people who will turn around and just go, Mommy, sorry, Mommy, ooh, Daddy, ooh, uppies, Mommy, in a stranger's comment section?
The good news is there's no more plague! Huzzah! The bad news is there's no more London.
The internet is so funny because, like, I can say some shit like, oh, incest is bad, and have someone come to me and be like, but you like gay people though, so where your morals at? I think people should date people in their age range. But you like black people, don't you? What correlation?
Yeah. See, the problem is we got fentanyl, which is killing all of our children. Problem is we got neighbors taking rights away from their women. I always wanted to have children, have a big brother and a little sister, but these days I gotta think different, cause I ain't sure if that's realistic. I look at suicide rates, and I look at overdoses, and I look at mental health trends, and now I'm looking at the ocean. Man, I ain't sure if that's right. Is it okay to bring life into a world where they can relax, into a world that's about to collapse?
Just as a reminder, and I would say friendly reminder, but there's nothing friendly about this because you Harry Potter fans are fucking weird. Keep your bullshit away from red, white, and royal blue. And I would talk more specifically about what led to this entire fucking thread once the streamers actually pay their writers and their actors. However, y'all are fucking weird and disrespectful. Keep your Harry Potter bullshit to yourself and keep it away from spaces in which you are clearly not welcome. Casey McQuiston, being trans themselves, took every single Harry Potter reference out of the fucking book for a reason. They're trans, and the book has trans, queer, and Jewish characters in them. So when y'all come in here talking about the Marauders again, you're not only disrespecting the author, but every single queer, trans, and Jewish person in these spaces, saying that you care more about your stupid fandom than their actual safety. Our safety. Don't come in here with the Marauders are separate. They fucking are not. They are still fucking Harry Potter. I can guarantee you this, because Casey has done the work to get rid of it. Henry does not give a single fuck about Lupin anymore. Fucking drop it. Talk amongst yourselves and keep it out of the public fucking space. Because again, the queer fans, the trans fans, and the Jewish fans do not want to interact with that shit. It is not welcome. Y'all are being fucking weird and disrespectful, and you're literally going against canon in a way that was specifically changed for a reason. Oh, but I like the original. I don't give a fuck. Casey themselves changed it because J.K. Rowling is disgusting and awful. You liking something does not trump that. Now Amazon, pay your fucking writers and actors, because God, I want to talk about this fucking movie, but y'all are awful. But apparently you're in good company, so.
It's all about the blood that he shed. See the devil.
Obviously super cringe, super corny. I'm sorry for subjecting you to this, okay? Before people are like, why am I seeing this? Oh my god. Okay, I had to stitch it. It was begging to be stitched. I understand why the stick up their butt white Christian girlies don't like Doja Cat and her music. She's rebranded herself, and quite honestly, I don't think Doja Cat is interested in that demographic in the first place. But to make a Christian version of her song is essentially doing exactly what she wanted you guys to do. I want to add that in there. But I also want to say this. You're mad about a song that you perceive as demonic, right? You think that there's an evil essence to the song. But you live in this ginormous home that's emitting fat ass greenhouse gas emissions. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. I don't think you need to be worried about Doja Cat rebranding herself. I don't think that's what God wants you to worry about right now.